You know, the fulale among the labor export industry of Uganda is when the recruiters and the sector players begin to assume that they will create order without leadership among the migrant workers. And all they do is to blame the migrant workers, how notorious they are, how they are tarnishing the image of the country, they are abusing what? They're abusing whatsoever they want to abuse online, and then the next day they are left like that. You find company people are so scared to be pronounced on media, but they cannot handle the issues they are committed to in time without media pressure. You understand? It is actually uh, very much surprising that one fears media or one reacts to media posts and takes action, which action he would have taken before this pressure. But because they are minimizers, they are misers, they don't want to know. So all they know is to create that image that a Ugandan abroad, munnayuganda awangalira mawanga g'Ebwarabu mubi, bavuma babi bali unruly. They are unruly, but has the country identified, has it even wished any kind of order amongst them? No, it is not there. You don't expect to observe order when you have not created a head. You know, God created this head of ours just to lead the whole body. You cannot be a full human being when you are scattered in pieces. You see, even when you miss one part of your body, you find yourself unbalanced. Secondly, God created this whole body with so many parts. But why with one head and not two heads or whatever? It's just like a state. A state remains a state with its sovereignty under a one head of state, who is empowered and given powers of sovereignty, the state powers, to have that capacity to give orders and receives orders from none. I am not saying that workers should also be given such a head or such a leader. No. But embracing their leader is so vital to avoid the uncoordination amongst them, to avoid causing a kind of failed, because when you look at states, there's what we call a failed state. A failed state has ahead of it being minimized by different cocoons or challenged by different cocoons of people who rise up day by day wanting to portray themselves as leaders of a certain area, leaders of a certain clique, leaders, so many. So everyone believes to be a leader in a single state. You see what is happening in this Congo, DRC, where people are taking part of the country purporting to be the leaders. Which kind of state is that? We call it a failed state. Therefore, the migrant workers wing are in that category. They are like a failed state. You can never have peace. So you cannot live in such a state or in such kind of a country when their guns and the sound of the guns is still going on, and then you expect to have peace. I mean, I'm talking about the people at the embassy, the people in the labor industry who are based here home in Uganda, the labor exporters, the Ministry of Gender. They shouldn't expect any peace for as long as they have tried to create such a state like a virus kind of affected state. Have you ever seen a virus in your phone? how it makes your phone, puzzled and gets to stagger, and then almost you lose your content. It hides the content. It does ABCD. This is what a virus does. Therefore, don't be surprised, even when the Ministry of Gender comes up with arrangements of applications. Their only target is how they can suture the anus to stop everyone from talking and then control the diarrhea. That's the only thing in their mind. How best can we suture this anus to stop the diarrhea? Because there's a lot of noise. We shall arrest. We shall do what? We shall get to them. They should stop, rather, threatening these people and get to listen to them. We cannot right now tell the Ugandan migrant workers who are suffering, who are dying every day, to shut up. We cannot. I mean, they are suffering. And indeed, we have seen dead bodies returning here. We cannot call it a birthday. We cannot keep saying we are protecting the image of the embassy that has failed to protect its nationals. Where do we get that appetite? This cannot happen. We want to give you an example. You cannot tell us that we can protect the people who are working at the embassy when they cannot protect us, when we are in that very jurisdiction. You are just insinuating. Or perhaps you don't know what you're talking about, or even you are compromised. So we cannot say that the people who are complaining in Saudi Arabia or any other country where they've been posted for work and promised to be monitored, to be followed up, when they find zero monitoring, they find zero welfare, zero whatever, even when they return home, they are nothing. They cannot be recognized anywhere. What do you expect such people going to do? They will definitely turn on you. And secondly, they will turn rowdy. Don't be surprised that when they ever jet back again or they board to any other destination, don't expect them to love you. They will always talk bad about you because of the history. So can that be a lesson? That it is not about telling people that bad behavior. How do you check the behaviors of migrant workers when you cannot allocate a disciplinary committee? Do you call them do you call them your subjects? I mean, are you going to relate their labor, their civil matters to criminality? You begin arresting people for expressing their opinion, they are polite about the mistreatment. I mean, this kind of cowardice among some of our colleagues must stop. You want us to continue within this kind of predicament and we cannot talk? Is that what you are saying? I mean, no, you have to check yourself, because even government encourages the people who check it. I mean, we saw it here in Kenya when the president was in good, trying to appreciate the people who are checking him. That's why Uganda today appreciates, though sometimes they don't go in a good rhyme. But Uganda, as a democratic country, in its principles, by the social contract it follows, and that is the constitution, Uganda brings the people who check the government on board. That's why they are in parliament. They are paid salary, government salary, to oppose it. They are paid government salary to criticize government, poor work. So don't be surprised to hear me criticizing government the same way over migrant workers' rights. I am not doing wrong, only that I'm not in a government pay. I'm not in a government payroll. So am I doing wrong? Is it because I'm not paid by government? Therefore, I should not talk? How about those who are opposing it in parliament, in politics? and they are totally against it, but government keeps paying them salary and gives them even good means of transport. I mean, we should mature enough to get reason. We should not make Ugandan migrant workers abroad become cowards simply because they know we are affecting the image of the country. What have you provided them to be in order? Give them the order, then you check them. If they fail to follow the order, then you have a right to say, be subject to the disciplinary committee for going beyond what your limits are. You cannot begin from there and you start blaming all the Ugandans in Saudi Arabia, how they are bad, they run aways, they are prostitutes, they are what, all the bad excuses. You bring them and tie them onto these Ugandans in Saudi Arabia, like you did to those in Dubai. Not all in Dubai are bad people. No, some of them are doing their work and they are ready to protect the image of the country. We all know that when we leave our country, we go abroad. Our aspiration is to get peace. But if you don't find peace there, what if you don't get well treated? Will you keep quiet? Because they told you don't talk, you will shame the embassy. What if you go to your embassy and you don't get assisted? Where else have you ever seen that? I mean, we have seen embassies in countries to assist nationals. How come that your fellow national comes to your door and you don't open up? Even when you open up, you don't aid this person to get assistance. This is ridiculous. We should try to be reasoned. We should try to actually be responsible when we are speaking. Be meticulous. Don't intimidate this person who is in a very desperate state. They are badly wanting. They really need us. We have not provided them enough. I mean, I'm talking about the Ugandan migrant workers in Saudi Arabia and other places. Remember the Ihazo, some of them get paid, others don't, others return when they are lame, others in these boxes, you know, a lot. Others, but all that happens when government has already received its commission, $30. Before even you are deployed, once a job order comes, it comes with $30 cut off from the embassy straight away. An Arab man cannot go to the embassy of Uganda in Saudi Arabia without paying $30 per head. They pay this money. Money actually reaches Kampala before the job order reaches Kampala. Can that be possible for Ugandans to leave Kampala when they are united? Other than waiting for them to be scattered in Saudi Arabia, trafficked in Saudi Arabia, because everyone then will take advantage. Once you don't create order from home, whoever wants will take advantage of them. So you wait to blame them, how they are bad, how they have excess behaviors, how they are whatever. What have you done? You are the one that has created this disorderliness. You have created it as government. Plus some of you, the people who are working for you, somebody based from the embassy to claim, I mean to say that it is very bad. You know what? Ugandans are very bad. We shall not accept to be intimidated as Ugandan migrant workers. And I want to share this message to you all. That you be a coordinator. We are sounding this to you. Torture our colleagues wherever you are. We are following you. Once our members report that you have been doing so, conniving with Arabs or anyone, any Ugandan, to do some kind of stuff onto our members, we shall follow you, and by the time you knock Kampala, we shall also do something to show you that we are not going to be intimidated. Some of you have been deployed to suffocate others. Because your company in Uganda knows you are rude enough. You have a master's degree in rudeness. a master's degree in rudeness. Then they take you to Saudi Arabia as a supervisor, and you make everyone, running mad. Whoever lands in your hands returns to Uganda when she's mentally sick, because you've not given them the liberty they deserve. You confiscate all their phone in connivance with your boss at the office. How many of you coordinators have been in connivance with your bosses at the office to take away these girls' phones, even though they misuse the phones? But if they had leadership, they wouldn't do what they are doing now. You should blame it rather on the administrator, that is government, that has failed to do a recognition of this kind of leadership, but to not disenfranchise your fellow Ugandans. Don't be the reason for that girl who dies calling for medicine, and when you are the coordinator at the office, somebody dies in your hands. You are in charge, but just know you're going to account for that. How many of you coordinators have seen girls reporting to your offices right from Uganda? And from the day they come, they are picked by their bosses. You never follow up again. And even if we ask you today, where are the numbers that have been coming here and go? Where are they? You can't give us an audit. You don't, because you're already compromised. Let me stop here. But for Migrant Workers Voice, I want to warn you that for you who wants to come up and threaten, you want to appear now defending the embassy, that embassy is our own. I want to tell you, you who is cowardizing to say something about the embassy, you can be the next ambassador there, because we are the first ambassadors. I can be an ambassador there. You can also be. It's about protection of interests of our country. And if so, labor migration remains an interest of Uganda, we shall be ready to defend it for as long as we as migrant workers have been provided the incentives, have been provided the rights and all the welfare we deserve. Otherwise, we shall not keep quiet because we are being intimidated. That embassy is our home. Nobody should go there and set a monopoly to begin oppressing Ugandans or minding less. We used to sympathize with the embassy officials, knowing that they have no budget or their budget is less. But when they talk about the mistreatment or whatever negligence they do onto our own, we shall not spare them either. I therefore want to set it on record that as migrant workers of Uganda, we're not going to keep quiet, and we shall not settle for less. 0700775501. We call upon everyone who is intimidated about your rights to speech. Please respond or report via that number. We shall stand by you as a voice. I thank you.